Good evening and welcome to the 7 o'clock evening news. I'm John Shelton. We begin with the main headlines. US President says slow and steady progress achieved in fighting IS militants as clashes continue in Syria town of Kobani. US journalist and South African teacher are killed by militants in Yemen during a rescue attempt by special forces. Hundreds of protesters took to the streets across the US after a grand jury's decision in shooting incidents. And about 500,000 people flee coastal villages in the Philippines as powerful typhoon Hagupit approaches. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency the President of Finland, Sauli Niinisto, on the occasion of his country's National Day. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Naif Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency the President of Finland, Sauli Niinisto, on the occasion of his country's National Day. His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mubarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister, also sent a similar cable. Smoke was seen rising and explosions could be heard today over the besieged Syrian town of Kobani as the battle for control of the strategic border town continued. Kurdish fighters, backed by a small number of Iraqi Peshmergas and Syrian rebels, are locked in what they say is a fight to the end against the IS group, which swept into the town on the Syria-Turkey border in mid-September. Despite having limited strategic significance, Kobani has become a powerful international symbol in the battle against IS militants, who have captured large swathes of territory in Iraq and Syria. Anger erupted in eastern Lebanon today after Al-Qaeda-linked extremist group the Al-Nusra Front said it had killed and captured Lebanese policemen to avenge the arrest of some captive IS militants. The soldier was one of more than 24 members of the security forces taken captive by militants affiliated to the Nusra Front and IS when they staged an attack on the Lebanese border town of Arsal in August. Following the announcement, security officials said the Lebanese army conducted wide deployment near the Syrian border. US President Barack Obama claimed slow and steady progress in the fight against IS militants as he committed to increase aid to Jordan, a key ally in the Arab coalition battling the militants. The President made the comments in the Oval Office meeting yesterday with King Abdullah of Jordan, one of 5 Arab nations that have participated in the US-led airstrikes against the militants in Syria. Obama called Jordan a rock-solid partner to defeat the IS and said he told the King that the US would increase its aid to $1 billion annually and also provide another loan guarantee. King Abdullah thanked the American people for supporting Jordan as he said the country was holding almost 1.5 million Syrian refugees. UK-born US journalist Luke Summers and Southern African teacher Pierre Corky have been killed by Al-Qaeda militants in Yemen during a failed rescue bid. The operation was carried by joint US and Yemeni special forces in the southern Shabwa region. US President Barack Obama condemned Summers' death as a barbaric murder. They were being held by militants from Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, regarded by the US as one of the deadliest offshoots of Al-Qaeda. The group is based in eastern Yemen and has built up support amid the unrest which has beset the country since the overthrow of former President Ali Abdullah Saleh in 2011. Protesters around the country rallied for a third night over a New York grand jury's decision not to indict a white police officer in the chokehold death of an unarmed black man. Yesterday, hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Washington, D.C. in opposition to the jury's verdict. Our reporter, Dina Nasser, has more on this story.
Many protesters lay down on the floor in Macy's flagship store in New York Grand Central Terminal and an Apple store to stage a so-called die-in. They streamed along Fifth Avenue sidewalks and other parts of Manhattan with signs and chants of Black Lives Matter and I Can't Breathe. Nationwide, tensions were already running high because of a grand jury's decision last week to not indict a white officer in the shooting death of a black 18-year-old Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. On Wednesday, more protests erupted after a grand jury in New York City decided not to indict a white officer in the chokehold death of Eric Garner, a black man who gasped "I can't breathe" while he was being arrested for selling loose, untaxed cigarettes. Meanwhile, scores of people arrived at the Missouri State Capitol building in Jefferson City yesterday, completing a 209-kilometer march from the site of the shooting. Around 100 protesters, including the mother of the teenager Michael Brown, gathered inside the government building for a rally. Organizers said the march was to protest a grand jury decision to clear the officer involved in the shooting and draw attention to broader racial inequalities. The march was organized by the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Thousands of anti-government protesters clashed with police in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, burning tyres and throwing stones at officers who responded with tear gas. The protesters want President Michel Martelly and Prime Minister Laurie Lamothe to resign and long overdue elections to be held. Some protesters accused the US of supporting Haiti's leadership as hundreds succeeded in reaching the National Palace. President Martelly was supposed to call elections in 2011, but they have been postponed in a stalemate between the government and a group of opposition senators over electoral law. A Swiss hostage kidnapped nearly 3 years ago by the Abu Sayyaf group has escaped his captors in the Philippines. Military officials said Lorenzo Vinciguerra fled as government troops attacked the jungle camp where he was being held on the remote island of Jolo and was wounded as he fled. He was later found by army troops and taken to hospital. Mr. Vinciguerra, 49, was one of 2 European bird watchers captured by the militants in the southern Philippines, then seized on Tawi-Tawi Island in February 2012. The fate of a Dutchman, Ewald Horn, who was taken captive with him, remains unclear. Kuwait's third National Arabian Horse Championship kicked off, which was organised by the Hunting and Equestrian Club. The championship was open to purebred Arabian horses that were registered in Kuwait Arabian Horse Registry without any required qualification. The contest is governed by the rules of the European Arab Horse Show Commission. Here is more on the event in this report by Salam Al-Kandari.
With the kind sponsorship of His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah, Kuwait's third National Arabian Horse Championship was organized by the Hunting and Equestrian Club here in Kuwait.
This is, I can simply say, it is an Arabian horse show. The Arabian horse shows now around the world, everywhere. It's shows and they have categories. There is C and B and national and international. And there is the show is according to classes. There is the classes according to the age. Those 1 year of age, they participate and compete against themselves. 2 years alone by themselves, 3 years. Then we join 4 to 6 years of age alone, 7 to 8, 7 to 10, and something, and 11 and above alone.
This is a great event. It's a national championship for Kuwaiti-owned horses, and as I understand it, there are about 300 horses here, several from many of the leading stud farms here. You have a great international panel of judges from all over the world coming to come see the Kuwaiti horses and then go back home and spread the word about the great Kuwaiti horses. There's a breed standard that every horse is judged against, and they're awarded points from 1 to 20, 20 being perfect. And as the variations of the individual horse come in front of them, they decide if it's a 20 or a 19 or an 18 or so forth. And then the horse that gets the most points wins the title.
Various horse classes are joined in this local contest, and winners of first places will be given according to the highest points in each class. This was the third National Arabian Horse Championship held here in Kuwait, and this is for the third consecutive year. It's been a wonderful competition where Kuwaiti breeders are competing for the best and beautiful horse. From the Hunting and Equestrian Club, this is Salim Kandiri reporting for the English News.
About 500,000 people have fled coastal villages and evacuated their homes in the Philippines as a powerful storm approaches the archipelago. Typhoon Hagapit, which weakened slightly last night, is due to make landfall today evening. Gusts are still peaking at 195 kilometers per hour. Thousands of passengers were left stranded after more than 150 flights were cancelled to the central and southern Philippines, and sea travel services were also suspended. Earlier, President Benigno Aquino, who met disaster agency chiefs, ordered food supplies to be sent to affected areas, as well as troops and police to be deployed to prevent looting in the aftermath. The Romanian embassy recently hosted a gathering to celebrate Romania's National Day. Known as Great Union Day, the holiday is honoured every year on December the 1st. This year marks the 96th anniversary of the country's beloved holiday. Reporter Badria Al-Salah brings us this report.
The Romanian embassy in Kuwait recently hosted an evening celebration in honor of Romania's Great Union Day. In dual honor, this year's holiday coincided with the continuation of almost 50 years of Romanian-Kuwaiti diplomatic relations.
This is the best occasion to talk about the excellent relations that we have with the State of Kuwait and the excellent relations that there are between the peoples of Romania and Kuwait. And this is the best time to express our gratitude to the people of Kuwait for being so friendly and so cooperative with my people, the Romanian people. It is, of course, being in Kuwait, it has to be excellent from all points of view, because Kuwait is excellent and Kuwaiti people are so nice. We have to be very, very friendly together.
Great Union Day, also called Unification Day, honored on December 1st, is the national holiday of Romania. The holiday commemorates the assembly of the delegates of ethnic Romanians held in Alba Iulia, which declared the union of Transylvania with Romania. Set after the 1989 Romanian Revolution, Great Union Day marks the unification of Transylvania, the provinces of Bessarabia, and Bucovina with the Romanian Kingdom in 1918. Prior to 1948, the national holiday of Romania was set to be on the 10th of May, as it marks the day on which Karl I set foot on Romanian soil in 1866, as well as the day in which the prince ratified the Declaration of Independence from the Ottoman Empire in 1877. The ambassador expressed the high importance of the embassy's current affairs in maintaining a close and strong connection with the Romanian community in Kuwait, with special attention towards continuing and strengthening ties between the two countries. On this year's Unification Day, the Romanian Embassy of Kuwait joined with their neighbors in celebrating 96 years of democratic freedom. At the Sheraton Hotel, I'm Badria Saleh reporting for the English News.
For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. That's all the news for now, but you can join us again for the news brief at 11 p.m. Before we end, here is a quick reminder of today's headlines. US President says slow and steady progress achieved in fighting IS militants as clashes continue in Syrian town of Kobani. US journalist and South African teacher are killed by militants in Yemen during a rescue attempt by special forces. Hundreds of protesters took to the streets across the US after a grand jury's decision in shooting incidents. And about 500,000 people flee coastal villages in the Philippines as powerful Typhoon Hagapit approaches.